There is no man in this village, but they have been breeding here for thousands of years. In order to increase the population of this village every year, they have to choose 6 beautiful young girls, go out to flirt with strong men, and come back to the village when they are pregnant. If a girl is born in October, she can become the next queen and enjoy wealth and glory for the rest of her life. But if it is a boy, he will not only be thrown into the river, but also be a slave in the village for the rest of his life. In order to reverse life, there are 15 young girls who have participated in the selection this year. It's not easy to get through. The first level is to add beans. If it falls out during the running process, it will be eliminated directly. As long as you reach the end smoothly and the beans do not fall, you can enter the next level. The second level is to climb the ladder. In this way, many people were eliminated because the beans fell. The third level is to jump rope with beans. Although it looks easy to jump rope, after the first 2 levels of physical exhaustion, the girls could hardly hold on. As the game went on, only 7 girls passed the level. However, the test for the girls did not end. The last level is to check the body, but those who have grown on their legs will be eliminated. The girl still wants the examiner to tolerate it. But for this tribe of only women, it is so strict to fulfill the requirements of the descendants of the village. After a series of systematic selection, only 6 girls pass the test. However, they can't leave immediately after passing the test. They have to learn the theory for a week. It turns out that in their tribe, men will be called devils. Devils are only suitable for them to look back. They don't deserve to live with them. They have to learn how to bewitch the devil. Then they can rush back to the village as soon as possible after getting pregnant. After the queen finished the final mobilization, 6 girls crossed the fog and walked out of the village. As a result, they met a sleeping devil on the way down the mountain. At first, the girls were happy about it. However, when the beggar turned around, a bad smell suddenly appeared. The frightened girls ran away in panic. Devils are really scary. Fortunately, the girls came to the town soon. They found that the town was full of devils. They were either killed or roasted. At this moment, they scared 2 girls who had never seen the world. In order to leave this place full of devils as soon as possible, they began to study the countermeasures at night. The next morning, they dressed up and came to the target outside. They decided to go home as soon as possible. Soon, they found 5 strong men. Soon, a girl walked up slowly. Unexpectedly, a man immediately got up and walked towards her. After seeing this trick, the girls also walked up one by one. As expected, all 4 of them found their targets. However, at this time, the girl suddenly found the key on her body. She was scared and hurried to look for it on the way. Even though Xiao Ai didn't know what was going on, a man was deeply moved by Xiao Ai's appearance. When Xiao Ai turned around, he found that the girl had disappeared. So he hurried to leave this place. Unexpectedly, the girl had already met a handsome boy in the woods. The girl walked forward without saying a word. She gently touched the boy's face with her hands. Although the girl was a little shy to avoid him, the girl didn't want to give up. In order to get pregnant successfully, she began to recall what she had learned in the tribe and put it on the boy. Then she took the opportunity to hold the boy's neck. However, what surprised her was that the boy was not only heartless, but also regarded her as a psycho. He thought he must have forgotten to take the medicine before he left. Then in order to escape, he deliberately tricked the girl to wait for him under the tree. He had something to deal with for the time being. At this time, the girl didn't know that the boy had already run away. When Xiao Ai found the girl, it was almost dark. After learning that the girl was waiting for a boy here, Xiao Ai immediately pulled her up and said that the boy would not come back. Then she took the girl back to the hotel. However, when they came back, they found that the 4 girls were packing up and ready to move out to live with the boy. At this time, Xiao Ai suddenly noticed the mark on the girl's wall. However, this was only their first day out. How could they get pregnant so easily? As expected after the experiment, she was not pregnant. At this time, she didn't meet the boy's sisters and couldn't sit still. The boy found a beautiful girl in the forest. However, when she walked to the boy's side, the boy said that he wanted to have a baby with her. At this time, the boy was shocked. He didn't know that the girl wanted to have a baby with him because she wanted to live a better life. As long as he successfully gave birth to a girl for the village, he could become the next queen of the village. The girl began to touch the boy. However, the boy didn't do anything because he just wanted to find a woman who could marry him. So he turned around and left here. At this time, the girl was very scared because it was time to return to the tribe. If she couldn't get pregnant, she would be a slave forever for the rest of her life. In order to complete the task as soon as possible, she had a bold idea. She wanted to find a random man, and then a man with a knife appeared. In this way, she tried her best to imagine the boy as her first love. However, she was suddenly thrown to the ground. After a while, she suddenly panicked. She struggled desperately. At this time, a wooden stick suddenly came to her. It turned out that her first love didn't go far. Unexpectedly at this time, her first love began to have feelings for her. After a few days of getting along like this, she successfully got pregnant. At the same time, the other sisters also completed the task. Whether it was a joy or a sorrow, it all depended on the child in the belly. Unknowingly, all this absurdity was actually a plot designed by the queen. At the end of the story, they also completely overthrew the queen's rule. From then on, they lived a normal life. This is a very explosive story. In the City of Secrets, if you like the drama, I recommend you to watch this film.